Hello there! In this game, a rook goes behind enemy lines. In the upper side of the board, with white, we have Yuri Averbakh, considered to be one of the strongest defensive players in modern chess. Not even the hyper-aggressive Nezhmedinov managed to break him, about whom he wrote that if he had the attack, could kill anybody, including Ta. With black, we have Viktor Korchnoi, considered to be one of the strongest players never to have become world champion. He played 2 matches for the title against Karpov in 1978 and then 3 years later. They played the Indian game Przepiorka variation and they reached this position which is completely equal. Now Yuri played King E1, heading towards the center, to which Viktor replied with H5. He's trying to engage the white pawns and create some kind of a weakness in black's pawn structure that maybe the rook on A4 could exploit. The king arrives to D2 and black pushes H4, to what white could reply with pawn takes, and after the rook recaptures, white would have a weak pawn on H3, but still nothing dramatic for white. Yuri, however, didn't want to deal with that, so instead he played knight d3, leaving black to exchange the pawns if he wants to, variation in which black would be only slightly better. Unfortunately for Yuri, Viktor had a very cunning plan in mind that Averbakh missed. Korchnoi now played g4, and black is suddenly winning. Black's idea is to create a passed pawn. But if you are not familiar with this thematic tactical shot, I show you now an ending with the same idea. Every chess lover should be familiar with this one. If you remember it, you will have a much easier time spotting similar tactical shots in the future. So what do we have here? Black is completely winning this one, but not because the king comes to help the pawns, because as you can see, he is lost somewhere in Antarctica. Black is winning because of the one and only winning move, g3. The idea is to clear the path either for the h-pawn or the f-pawn, depending how white captures. What white must do, because if not, then black takes on h2 or f2 and queens next. So if white takes with the h-pawn, then this guy can advance now because it has a clear path. The only little problem is that the white pawn is guarding h3. So what black does now is to advance the f-pawn and deflect white's pawn from defending the h3 square. So now the h-pawn has a clear path to become a queen. White has the option to take the h-pawn instead, but then the f-pawn queens by capturing on g2. And of course the same happens if after g3 white captures with the f-pawn. Then we queen this little fellow by playing h3. Or if white takes on f4, then we take here and we queen on the g file. This is quite instructive, worth remembering. So back to our game now. Averbakh chose to take on g4 and of course Korchnoi played h3. This pawn here, Harry, as Grandmaster Simon Williams likes to call him, maybe even he was the one who baptized him, I'm not sure. So Harry would like to become a queen someday. ASAP actually, but right now the rook could stop it by controlling the queening square from b1. Regardless, white is in trouble now, because the constant attention required to keep an eye on that pawn is quite exhausting. So maybe Yuri was making a coffee or something to prepare for a long and painful defense. Unfortunately for him, the game didn't last for long because he immediately blundered again with king c2, after which another shot from black finishes the game in style. Now, this one is very difficult to see first time. If you see it, then you are probably a genius and you might have chosen the wrong career. But if you're not a genius, then you can probably stare at it until your eyes drop out, and still nothing. So black's idea now is rook c4 check, and after king d2, you get another chance to guess the move, which is rook c1. The rook invades the back rank of white. What a shameless a-hole to go in uninvited like that. He's basically begging to be captured. And the point is that regardless of who's capturing that rook, the king or the knight, after h2, the rook can't stop the pawn anymore. After rook b1 and queen, the knight blocks the rook. Rook c1, what a move! Now, this tactical shot actually has a name. It's called a decoy, because you are decoying something to somewhere. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this game. Thanks for watching and see you soon.